Hi, my name is Lunar and welcome to this ultimate beginner's guide to Overwatch and its many playable characters. In this video I'm going to try and cover everything you need to know about each character, but in case you are looking for something specific, I've listed all of the sections with a timestamp on the left so you may skip to the relevant part. I tried to make all my videos as easy as possible to follow. After all, it is a help guide, so if you don't find what you're looking for or I've missed something, I'm sure someone has left it in the comments below. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at all things Genji, starting with his backstory. The cyborg Genji Shimada has made peace with the augmented body he once rejected, and in doing so, he has discovered a higher humanity. As youngest son of the master of the Shimada ninja clan, Genji lived a life of luxury and privilege. He had little interest in the family's illegal businesses, and although he excelled at and enjoyed his ninja training, he spent most of his time pursuing a playboy lifestyle. Many within the clan considered the carefree Genji to be a dangerous liability, and they resented his father for coddling and protecting him. Following the clan leader's untimely death, Genji's older brother Hanzo demanded that Genji take a more active role in their late father's empire. Genji refused, enraging Hanzo. The tension between the brothers built to a violent confrontation that left Genji on the verge of dying. Hanzo believed that he had killed his brother, but Genji was rescued by Overwatch, and the intervention of Dr. Angela Ziegler, the global security force, saw Genji as a potential asset in its ongoing operation to combat the Shimada clan. As Genji's injuries left him clinging for life, Overwatch offered to rebuild his body in exchange for his help. He was put through an extensive process of cyberization which enhanced his natural speed and agility and augmented his superlative ninja skills. Genji single-mindedly set about the task of dismantling his family's criminal empire, but as time passed, Genji felt increasingly at war with himself. He was repulsed by the mechanical parts of his body and could not come to grips with what he had become. When his mission was complete, he abandoned Overwatch and wandered the world in search of meaning. He drifted for many years before crossing paths with the Omnic monk Zenyatta. Though Genji initially rejected Zenyatta's wisdom, the benevolent Omnic would not be deterred. In time, Zenyatta became his mentor. Under the monk's tutelage, Genji reconciled his dual existence as both man and machine. He learned to accept that although he had a cyborg body, his human soul was intact, and he came to see his new form as a gift and a unique strength. Now for the first time in his life, Genji is free. Even he cannot say where his path will ultimately lead. So now we know all about Genji's backstory and his history, so what are his abilities and weapons? Well, first up are his main attacking weapons that are shurikens. Genji can burst fire 3 shurikens in quick succession in a straight line, or fan throw the shurikens, sending the shurikens off in different angles to hit multiple targets. The shurikens do a total of 84 damage or 28 per star, and can headshot enemies for a total of 168 damage or 56 per star, so it's doubled if you get a headshot. The rate of fire for the shurikens depends on the throw style, with burst fire managing 3 stars every 0.97 seconds, and fan fire 3 every 0.73 seconds respectively. And the reload speed is the same for both at 1.5 seconds. Shuriken burst fire is great against static enemies at long range such as Bastion, Torbjorn's turret, and if you have decent accuracy you can also use it to harass Widowmaker. His fanfire coupled with agility can take on higher HP defensive players such as Roadhog and Reinhardt. Genji's second ability is a defensive one called Deflect. He can rapidly swing his sword to reflect incoming fire back at the enemy. The ability only lasts 2 seconds, but is more than enough time to deal heavy damage back at your opponent. The ability requires 8 seconds of cooldown and can deflect projectiles and can produce headshots. Deflect is probably one of Genji's most useful abilities, providing him much needed defense against those heavy hitters, especially someone like Bastion who does high damage and can easily deflect that damage back at him to take him out quickly. This ability can also be used against many other players' ultimates such as Reaper, McCree and Soldier 76 to deflect all the damage right back at them. Keep in mind you can only deflect Hanzo's ultimate ability only if you deflect the initial arrow and not the actual dragon itself. His next ability is called Swift Strike and can be used for multiple purposes. It allows Genji to dart through the air and slice at the enemy doing 50 damage, and you cannot land a headshot with it. If the attack kills an enemy, it instantly recharges the ability, and it doesn't require you to kill the enemy yourself to recharge. You only have to damage the enemy, and if someone else gets the kill it will still recharge. Otherwise, it has an 8-second cooldown before you can reuse it. The ability can also be used as a means of travel to reach otherwise unreachable places, helping Genji to traverse the map and flank around the opposing team. It's also a great support attack against groups of enemies. It does 50 damage, so you can take out several low health enemies in quick succession, as it will charge after each kill, and it can make the difference for your team. The ability does 50 damage or 2 health bars from any enemy. However, a good tip is to Swift Strike for 50 damage and immediately melee for another 50 to deal 100 damage quickly. Genji's passive ability is Cyber Agility. This ability can do two things. You can either double jump or run on walls. You can also combine these for a triple jump. If you double jump onto a wall, run up it, you can then jump off for a third jump in a row. This allows Genji to access many otherwise inaccessible parts of the map. Genji's ultimate ability is called Dragon Blade. He will deliver strikes of his katana for a total of 8 seconds and will slightly increase his movement speed. In this time he can slash twice every 1.83 seconds for a total of 9 slashes, and each slash delivers 120 damage, and like Swift Strike, cannot deliver a headshot. Whenever using Dragon Blade, it will automatically allow you to use your Swift Strike ability, removing any cooldown that may be left on it. Genji's ultimate ability can be highly effective, if not difficult to master. Using the Swift Strike to reach enemies and a high damage output, you can quickly dispatch the opposing team. Although keep in mind that Genji is not a frontline attacker, and so can be vulnerable while using this ability, so remember to keep agile and keep moving as much as possible to stay alive. So now we know Genji's abilities and how exactly they work. How does that transfer into a playstyle while you're actually in game? And what other heroes are his strengths and weaknesses? Well, Genji is a nimble offensive hero that can leap, climb walls, perform double jumps, and dash in and out of combat. His climbing abilities allow him to reach many parts of the map that other players cannot. This makes Genji a perfect flanking character, especially once you've learned the map sufficiently, so you can sneak behind enemy lines and take out the opposing team's big guns and support characters such as Bastion, Widowmaker, Mercy, and Zenyatta. By killing off these players, it means your team can focus on pushing the objective forward and not having to worry about being picked off at a distance, and killing the opposing frontline players and not having to worry about them being overpowered by the enemy's support characters, a vital role for any team. Like all players though, Genji has his weaknesses. With relatively low health and no healing, he relies on his agility and mobility combined with learning the location of health to survive. However, it's his deflect ability that is most important to survival, and this is what makes him particularly weak against other quick moving characters or hard to hit ones such as Tracer and Lucio, as their quick movement can easily dodge the reflected projectiles. The deflect ability also doesn't work on anything that's not projectile. This means that something like Mei's freeze gun or Winston with his melee attacks can quickly take out Genji if he's not careful. Next up we have achievements and trophies for Genji, and there are two. If you're playing on PC, this isn't really relevant to you, but we're still going to cover it anyway. His first achievement is Slice and Dice. You have to kill 4 enemies with a single use of Genji's Dragon Blade in quick or competitive play. And you also have to kill 2 enemies with a single use of Genji's Deflection, also in quick or competitive play. These achievements, like most of the ones in Overwatch, will come over time, but they're much easier to get, particularly when the enemy is grouped together in a game such as Capture the Point, where many of the enemy will be held up together in a small area, allowing you to take out multiple enemies at once. Genji has 10 unlockable skins, and they are as follows: Azurite, Cinnabar, Malachite, Ochre, Carbon Fiber, Chrome, Sparrow, Young Genji, Bedouin, and Nomad. He also has 3 unlockable emotes: Challenge, Cutting Edge, and Salute. Genji also has 3 victory poses: Kneeling, Shuriken, and Sword Dance. There are also 10 voice lines that you can unlock.
Come on. So, 覚悟。いざ尋常に勝負。Measure twice, cut once. 我が魂は均衡を求める。まだまだ。は、simple. よし。You are only human. 。
Genji also has 3 highlight intros that it can unlock, and they are Shuriken, Unsheathing the Sword, and Warrior Salute. Finally, Genji has 70 different sprays he can unlock despite it saying 25, and you can either unlock these by completing challenges, purchasing them, or unlocking achievements and trophies. I'm not going to name all of these, but we are going to look through them, and while we do, I just want to thank you guys for watching. I tried to make all of my guides on my channel as simple and easy as possible to follow, and this video is intended for beginners only. I don't claim that everything in the video is 100% accurate, but it is to the best of my knowledge at the time of making the guide. If you have a different opinion to anything in the video, or you see a mistake, I encourage you to let me know and others know in the comments below. If you did find this guide helpful, please subscribe. I appreciate the support, and I will hopefully see you all next time for more Overwatch character guides. See you guys then.